Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? I guess it is so like sand through the hourglass of time. These are the days of our lives. It's a rite of passage, Muse. We're moving towards spring. Mel Kiper's got his first mock draft. Pretty fired up about it. I don't know that Mel's mock drafts are any more accurate than anybody else's mock drafts, and they're certainly going to change. But Mel's the man. He's been the draft guy for 40 years. So Mel puts out a mock draft. I want to talk about it. Curious what he does. Mel Kiper has Caleb Williams going number 1 to the Bears via the Panthers. That's obviously the Panthers pick that goes to the Bears via the trade last year. And he's got Caleb Williams going to the Bears. So what does that mean for Justin Fields? You know, one of the most commonly bandied about theories is Fields ends up with the Atlanta Falcons. Could Bill Belichick be coaching the Atlanta Falcons with Justin Fields as his starting quarterback? That'd be pretty fascinating. But not as fascinating to us anyway as who Mel Kiper has going number 2 overall. And that is Jayden Daniels. Mel Kiper has Jayden Daniels surpassing Drake May as the number 2 player in this draft, going to the Washington Commanders. Now, Washington still has to hire a head coach, so it'll be most interesting to see who that is. But, man, it is so hard to argue against Jayden as the second best quarterback in this draft, and I think you could make a case for him as the best quarterback in this year's draft class. And yes, I admit I am impossibly biased, but I can also look at the seasons Jayden Daniels, Drake May, and Caleb Williams had this past year, and there is an undeniable truth that Jayden Daniels, athletically, is the most dynamic of the three. And the biggest elements for improvement in his game were the deep ball and his ability to read a defense, and both improved astronomically. Maybe Caleb Williams projects as a better draft prospect, maybe. But I totally understand why you would have Jayden Daniels going number 2. I could see Jayden Daniels going number 1. It seems like Caleb Williams has been locked into that top spot for a long time and is going to go there, but he could at least make it interesting. Kiper's got Drake May going 3 to the New England Patriots. Patriots need a quarterback. They'll likely go there. Marvin Harrison 4 to the Cardinals. Brock Bowers 5 to the Chargers. And then the second receiver off the board, Malik Nabers, number 6 to the New York Giants. You are seeing this mocked more and more in drafts, is Malik Nabers, number 6 to the New York Giants. One thing is pretty clear when you look at every mock draft, Malik Nabers is being mocked by everybody as a top 10 pick. And what an amazing season for Malik, and you just feel so good for that guy, a guy from Louisiana who it meant the world to him to put on for LSU and for the state of Louisiana, leaves LSU as the all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards, and is going to be a top 10 pick. So congrats to Malik Nabers. But the one that's the most interesting, and I always scroll to see, okay, well, who does he have the Saints taking? And there is a black and gold, purple and gold synergy here because Mel Kiper has the New Orleans Saints taking Brian Thomas Jr. at number 14. And there's 2 components to this. One is what a meteoric rise for Brian Thomas, who was on nobody's first-round mock draft at the start of this season, started to creep into some mock drafts as the season went along, maybe late in round 1. And now you have him as high as 14 to the New Orleans Saints. So Brian Thomas as a top half of round 1 guy makes complete sense. He's a freak show. He's 6'2", over 200 pounds, runs like a deer, has strong hands, can blow the top off a defense, can make tough catches over the middle. He's physical. He's awesome. I mean, Brian Thomas is a top half of round 1 guy. Of course that makes sense. Brian Thomas to the Saints, I love that as well. This is not, I think, going to be popular for a lot of Saints fans who I think we all intuitively say, go get defense. But I don't think the Saints are picking a quarterback. While I would love to see it, I don't think the Saints are taking a quarterback. They have too much money invested in Derek Carr next year, and they're going to try to maximize their return on that investment. So if you're going to maximize your return on Derek Carr, get him an OC, and get him help. Yes, we love Chris Olave. Rashid Shaheed had an awesome year this year. What is Michael Thomas? I don't know. He is an injury-prone receiver who has not been good in 5 years. Can you get Derek Carr another weapon on the outside? You've got Alvin Kamara back. You drafted Kendre Miller. You got running backs. You could certainly use a tight end, but Brock Bowers is going to be off the board. Yes, you need help on the offensive line. Mickey Loomis told us that it looks like Ryan Ramchik's going to get good news and be back, but you still need help on the left side of your line. So if the New Orleans Saints go with an offensive lineman or a wide receiver at 14, I would be perfectly fine with that. I think the Saints defense will be plenty good enough. And look, you have tons of holes on this team. Could you use another interior defensive lineman? Yes. You could always use an edge rusher. Am I concerned about Demario Davis nearing the end of his career? Absolutely I am. Same thing with Tyrann Mathieu at safety. Are the Saints potentially going to trade Marshawn Lattimore? Could you end up needing a corner? Okay. I just mentioned tight end, offensive line. There's a lot of places you need help. But if the fulcrum, if the balancing act here is how do we get this seesaw to go positive for Derek Carr, then you've got to give Derek Carr assets to help him succeed. And I'm telling you honestly, I don't think Derek Carr is going to succeed. I do not think we have seen Derek Carr. We have seen his ceiling. He is not going to be a guy that wins a playoff game in New Orleans. Could you win a bad division? Sure. I thought they would this year. I thought they'd go 10-7, lose in the wild card round. They went 9-8, missed the playoffs. But if organizationally you are committing to Derek Carr, you're committing to Dennis Allen, you're getting a new offensive coordinator, then you got to get him help. And if Brian Thomas is sitting there at 14 and they say, we're going to get that dude, I'm perfectly fine with it. Because even if it goes sideways for Carr and whoever the new OC is and Dennis Allen after this season, whoever the next guy is going to have a lot of toys in the toy chest to make that thing go. And makes you a more desirable spot because of the talent you'd have offensively, at least the skill talent. So Mel Kiper has the Saints going Brian Thomas at 14. And I'd be perfectly fine to see it. I'd be thrilled to see it if it worked out that way. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.